Surrounded by. I am surrounded by.
I'm often surrounded by.
The entire system is surrounded by
Freaking idiots.
Surrounded by them.
idiots.
What's good, nigga?
Hey, man. We in this thing.
Actually, I can't even start like that. I gotta start right. I gotta start right,
Starting with a nigga is crazy. That's crazy.
YouTube's not gonna like that.
They say, was it like 10 minutes? You shouldn't cuss within like the first 10.
Yeah, and like if you're gonna smoke weed or something, like you shouldn't do any of. All right, let me get this together.
Yeah, you do.
Because didn't have your green room ready, so I got
you
to
did, and I almost left.
I noticed. So I'm here today with a one of a kind talent. Might have known him from looking for Alaska on Hulu. Might know him from Unpregnant on HBO Max.
Oh.
He's also in a new project. I was saying it's called The Duel.
Wow.
Come on, man. And
You've
then
done your
just got off tour with Chris D'Elia.
Yeah.
We're talking about Denny Love, ladies and gentlemen.
I feel like you should have memorized that, but that was
I
good.
definitely should have.
You should have memorized
it was the joint I smoked before.
I could understand.
It
was in your head.
Oh, it was in my head.
But you got.
I wrote it down. I did
Did you get nervous?
a little bit. You make me nervous, man.
Yeah. Is it because my green room wasn't prepared?
The green room wasn't prepared, but I made sure that you had your damn sweet greens.
Which you actually have enough space in here to have a green room.
I thought about that. I was like, I should just put them in that room.
You should
as
have
a
put
joke.
my name on there. Made it a thing.
Niggas ain't got printers.
Bro, as many auditions.
Nigga technology.
No way you don't have a printer.
No, I got a printer.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, it currently isn't working though.
Oh, word?
Yeah, it's in the room, but it's like.
I guess you don't need it. The writer's strike done got everything. Have you been losing your mind, or how have you been?
I've been all right so far because I do like the looping stuff, like I said. So like a lot of the voiceover and stuff, that's still going. So that's nice. But honestly, as far as anything else, like auditions now, they're like, hey, we need to like knock this out, because the SAG's about to strike.
Yeah.
The DGA is in like I think it's day 22 or 23 of negotiations. So in theory, all this shit's about to shut down for a little bit.
Yeah, bro.
That's why you're in the right business.
Oh man, I was just about to say. That's why I love doing stand-up, bro, because we kind of operate outside the business in a weird way.
For sure.
And also making music as well. I think it's so bizarre to me when I meet creatives in LA who just act.
Right.
That's all you do is act.
Yeah.
Blows my mind, bro, because it's so hard to sustain yourself in LA just as an actor.
And it's not consistent enough, A.
Yeah.
Like there's not enough consistency. And then B, I feel like what I love about music, and I know you can say the same for stand-up, it's like it's a skill that you can build and no one has to pick you to build it. So that's like the first thing you said when you came here, you was like, damn, it's like the vibes used to be, huh? You used to be cooking up and like, yeah, bro. Because like this is a job that I know 24/7. This is why I create my space like this. 24/7, bro. If I want to create something, I can create something in this fucking room that can better my life.
100%.
And I don't have to go to no casting office. I don't have to call and ask my reps, hey,
you don't need permission.
I don't need permission. And I can just go do it. And that's one of the things I've always, and I've told you this, like respected about stand-up as a whole, where it's like, you look at guys who literally are just stand-up comics. Next thing you know, they're movie stars. But they didn't chase them.
They made the industry come to them. Yeah, 100%. It's so hard to make it as a comedian. Yeah. Because the good thing I say is we kind of operate outside the business, but the tough thing is I don't know if they've raised the like rate for performance for comedians. I don't know if it's happened since the 80s, the 70s. I don't, because we don't have a union. There's no comedian union. Yeah. They can get away with not paying comedians because they're like, what you gonna do? Yeah. You know, you can either create your own show, but it's like feast or famine in the comedy business. Either you are a big name headliner and you getting paid as a headliner, but everything beneath that, just guest spots, bro. They not. I was watching a Steve Harvey interview where he was talking about him coming up and doing stand up, and he talked about how much he was getting paid. I'm like, bro, they still have not raised that.
I've heard I heard a lot of comedians talk about that, like whether it's on like Joe's podcast or anything like that. Like and they talk about, they're like, oh man, I would kill like back in blah, blah for $100 spot. And then I started thinking, I'm like, nah, niggas are still like still happy to get $100 spot.
100%. Even it's at the bigger clubs too. You think people be thinking we just be getting paid. It's like, no, it's really highway robbery because you've been to a bunch of my shows.
Yeah.
Now, tickets generally range from like $20 to $25. Mm-hmm. Plus, they hitting you with a 2-drink minimum, let you decide that you want to eat, let you be with a date. You spending like $50, $60
easy.
to come see me. Easy, bro. And you multiply that with 200, 250 people that the capacity of the venue, 300 sometimes. Bro, they are raking in money in mass and paying comics $100, bro. That's crazy.
Sounds like that good old capitalism.
Crazy, bro. Now imagine,
ridiculous.
how would I pay my rent just doing comedy? I would have to perform every single night, multiple times a night, just to pay my rent.
But that's I think the beauty, well, it's just like anything else, but it's the beauty of that thing though, is it forces you guys to be larger than life. Like, what am I trying to say? It forces you to be a entity and a brand of so your own that no matter what, I can go to any city and I know 3,000 people gonna show up. Even if it's just 1,000. I was telling somebody else this the other day. I'm like, even if it's just, bro, like if you just 5,000 people and 5,000 people consistently are like, no, I'll give this nigga $4.99.
Yeah.
You're living good.
Yeah.
Not to mention that subscription is going to lead to other things you do that you can monetize and get royalties off of. And then these, the longer game. But that's what you must do. Because if you're not, like you said, if you're not the name they can put on the marquee to get everybody to come in to spend that $50, $60, then, we'll just put a bunch of people don't know on the lineup and we'll still like, get that money. Why? Yeah.
Why? You have to fill a need in this business in general. If you don't fill a need, then there's hundreds of people like you. So I do agree. You have to make yourself so valuable in this sport that they have to come to you because they know you have a fan base. But it's really hard to do that in comedy these days because there's no avenue to getting there. Yeah. Back in the day, if you did Def Jam,
that was the way. Yeah.
You're out of there. A 5-10 minute set, you out of there, bro. Or you do the Apollo and kill, you out of there.
That's facts.
You do Comic View, you kill, you out of there. Yeah. And people are getting TV shows and movie deals.
Bro, I remember that's how it used to be even back when I was younger. It was like, if you do Leno, or if you did, you
got a pilot.
If you did Carson or whatever, like, there's man, you had a stand-up. Yes, like that guy's next because getting there was like you said, it was like getting on Def Jam. It's 100%. Like, now you on Def Jam? No, nigga, after this,
it's up.
You ready.
So every comedian was trying to get on those places. And nowadays, though, one could argue it's easier to get put on because you can find the eyes, so many different avenues on social media. But everybody's doing that.
Yeah.
Everybody is doing that. So it's not like you can get on stage at the Laugh Factory and then you blow up from that. It's like, no, you have to blow up outside of that somehow.
Yeah.
And the only avenue that is really available is social media, bro.
And everybody's on that highway.
Everybody's on that, bro. So much traffic.
There's no like little cut through or back way.
So much traffic. And then you hustle backwards in a way because a lot of people who give all of their talent to social media, people don't realize the attention span of people on social media is like 3 to 5 seconds.
Right.
If you don't make people like what you're talking about in the first 3 seconds of the video,
they're out.
They're out of there, bro. They're on to the next video, on to the. And that's not how stand-up comedy works.
No.
There's a setup. There's, punches throughout. There's a, it's like people, their attention span is so dulled down that it's like microwave comedy. Everybody that's why skits have blown up because people they like it quick and they like to leave.
Instant gratification.
Stand-up is not like that. You should need to sit down, go see it live, and enjoy it. And comedy is more, stand-up is more, it's like putting food in the oven. You got to wait to see why I even brought this joke up in the first place. So if the way I've had to edit videos for TikTok, bro, it's like
Oh, and you feel like you're missing some of the best stuff at times.
It's
too,
like yo, baby.
Yeah.
Just dulling it down so much to fit the consumer.
Well, I think that's a problem in general with short form media. Like when you look at a lot of times people will take one clip out of a podcast.
Yeah.
That someone said. And then it's like, oh, well, we have no context. It was a 2-hour, 30-minute conversation, but you're going to take the piece that works for you.
100%.
You know, and it's the same with, music.
It's all headers.
Yes. Everything's a headline. We
Yeah.
just want the headline and we can move on.
If that don't get them, because don't nobody want to watch 2.5 hours. They want a crazy header.
Right.
And then they want to see if they like it from that. It's insane, bro.
Do you even see how they cut trailers now? Like when you're just on like Netflix or Hulu and you're like, oh, what's this about? Nigga, it's literally like a cliff notes of the movie.
Yeah, they tell the whole story.
It's the whole story. And you're like, okay, so I could pretty much fill in.
I already know what happened.
Yeah.
I already know what happened.
There's a huge fight between her and the guy, and then blah, blah. And then, yeah, I'm pretty sure she wins. It seems like the company. Like,
yeah. But I blame us.
Yeah.
I blame us because we've allowed it to get to this point. And I think artists have to fight back a little bit. But everybody's feeding this system. Everybody's like, and I know it's like that for music. People want to know what them TikTok numbers is looking like.
100%.
They want you to gear music towards that.
Yeah, just
make music for TikTok.
Yeah, give us the little headline thing that's funny or whatever. And
they can't dance to it. People like,
yeah,
like real music is so hard to get that off the ground, bro. It's I don't even. Is that frustrating to you?
Yes, and okay. So because I've always been in both games, I've never. That duality has always allowed me to be like, oh, okay, like if this is some shit, like if this is what I have to do in this genre of music to do, I don't want to do that shit. I'll focus in on doing some other shit to make sure I'm straight, and then I'll come back and I'll figure out what I want to do. Like having that balance helps. It's just like when you said people who just sit in LA and they just act, and you're like, wait a minute, like there's not enough. You're not working enough, and there's too many hours in the day.
Crazy.
So yeah, like no, like nigga, you're sitting there just that is literally the devil's plaything, idle time.
Yeah,
and
100%.
That's all you have if you are an
100%.
actor who's not on a television show.
Crazy.
You just have idle fucking time, and
Crazy.
don't have idle money too.
Yeah, bro. Living in this town, people don't. The money you make, it don't last as long as people think it does, bro. People don't. But I'm sure you've been in the business. How long you been in the business?
27, 28 years. Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've seen so many people
I've seen a lot of. That's the crazy thing though. I've seen a lot of people fucking jetpack, and you're like, nigga, I was standing next to him.
Yeah.
And now that nigga, now I'm looking at him on the building.
Yeah.
How'd that happen? And leapfrogs. But then I've also seen though, like you said, niggas who are just in the game, and then one day it's just like, damn, I ain't seen.
What happened to dude?
What happened to dude? He just like. Then he's just doing some whole other shit, moved back home.
Depot. You like, what?
What? But you know what?
Trader Joe's, dude from the Cosby Show. There's so many more people like that than people realize. Think. Yeah. It's so many people, because this acting thing, bro. Just because you book a series, that don't mean you set.
No.
In fact, I've realized it actually gets harder. When you book a series or a movie, it actually gets harder to book again, because now it becomes more about like market value.
There you go.
Now everybody you're competing against, they've been on series. They've been in movies.
You're in a different tier.
Now you're in the NBA. You went from being a good college hooper.
Exactly.
Just like now you're in a league.
Yeah, nigga, I was killing in high school. Oh, I was the man.
Because you were lighting it in a bottle.
Then when you get to the NBA, you kind of like, I'm in the injured reserve right now, but they pull me up every once in a while.
Yeah, like, you ain't new no more. It's one thing when they're like, who's this new kid?
Fresh face. Because they want to see how far that can go. Yeah. Because it's like seeing something that's like, I know how I can propel this.
Yeah.
Like, I this is new. Maybe we can, hey, shit, let's see it. Let's swing for the fences. But with something that's already been there, it's like, well, it's kind of peaked, right? It's like a stock. It's peaked, right?
It's
like
crazy.
Why would I buy back into that? But then when it fuck around, then they're like, oh shit, wait. Like,
man, they always realize it too late.
Of course.
I realize in this industry, don't nobody want to start the engine.
No.
They want to hop on when you'd already took off. That's why you book a series. Every big agency is coming after you now.
And that's the other. Oh, and they'll come after you. You'll fuck around and be like, yeah, man, I'm gonna lead these folks. I'm gonna go over here with CAA and I'm gonna do it. And then guess what? A year and a half later,
they ain't thinking about you.
Man, ain't fucking thinking about it. Like the show's cold and blah blah blah.
They chase steam. Mm-hmm. They don't want to develop actors. They aren't there for development.
Because they play, but see, that's why I feel like the game's been flipped. It's like any new business or any new company. You know, in the beginning, it's all fucking. My dad always says, "New broom sweep clean." So in the beginning, think of what they were doing. Studios were hiring actors, and it was like, "No, we don't worry about it. We're gonna use you in all these 5-6 films. It's gonna be blah blah. We'll take care of your blah." You like even record labels. Same thing. They would bring artists in and be like, "Oh man, this kid's kind of good. Oh well, you know, once we develop him, he's going to be a fucking star."
Yeah.
Now it's like, no, the barrier to entry is everyone.
Yeah.
So therefore, nigga, you got a computer, right? Figure it out. And once you figure it out, I'll give you more money
here
to propel it to a place you never could have taken.
Yeah.
Also, because the algorithm doesn't work in your favor because that's intentional.
Crazy, bro.
You know?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Now they all, it's like the game is rigged. They want you to be a self-starter. And the platforms that we have to be self-starters are also trying to push your content down so that you pay them to get your stuff seen by your followers. The people they subscribe, follow you. And all of these social media platforms are like, don't show. And they'll try to pitch it to you like, you reached 23,000 people today. I'm like, that's not the amount of people that follow me. Why am I only reaching a percentage of my followers?
Yeah.
Like, bro, it'd be even my homies that I follow. I'll be like, I haven't seen their content in so long.
You don't see your
friends. And you go down your page, you're like, I don't follow these people. Why are they on my page? You used to have the option to say, I don't want to see this.
Now you don't.
Now it's like, no, they gonna show you what they want to show you. So we're all getting fed the same things.
Yeah, and the worst part is we're all getting fed the same things, and then we're all getting fed completely different things based on what we like.
Crazy.
Which is also bad. Like
crazy. I don't want anybody to see my Explore page. I'm the most basic nigga in the world. My Explore page, I'm like, I'm not really like this.
But you know why? But then your ass, you'll be like, I'm not going to like these things.
And I like them.
You look.
I do be clicking them.
And then you click them, or they also know how long you like
looking at it.
Yeah, so
because I tried to trick them. I'm like, I'm not going to click it. I'm going to look at it from here. Because the minute I'm like, these motherfuckers is good, bro.
It's like a catalog. Like you like one girl and they're like, oh, that's your preference?
You look up.
Here's 1,000 more who look just like her.
Like, it's like, how are y'all finding? I could just be like, oh, titties. And now I look at one girl and now all I see is titties, bro. You know, I'm like, how do y'all, I didn't even search this.
You know what I had to do? Which is like against every core in my being.
What?
I had to go to the stuff and literally say, don't show me more posts like this.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm
still
work? Not there.
Because they'll check in on you like, are you sure?
That's what happens. And then it doesn't quite. But I'm clawing my way out of it. Like now,
I try to trick them. Yeah, I just search random. Like I'll go to NASA's page. Just be like try to.
Yeah, nigga like NASA too.
Yeah, I like that as well. They like nah, nigga. You lingered here for.
Did you hear about Blueface? You like shit.
It really shows you how basic you are.
No,
because I'm like this
Twitter too. When they put that's anything that's for you. I'm like, this isn't bettering me.
No,
because I know what basic shit I'm just gonna fall into. Like my friends who like, because all my friends are huge NBA fans.
Mm-hmm. They show you all sports.
Nigga, I get all kind of NBA stuff in my timeline. And I'm like, that's cool. Like respect, like to the niggas who out there making $100,000 a game. That's respect to you. I'm trying to figure out a hustle like that, my friend. So that's why I don't watch you. Yeah. But it's like, even with that, it's like, fuck. Like, why don't I get like world news?
Never.
Why don't I get like some shit?
Ukraine.
Like on the start
What's going on there? I haven't heard about Ukraine.
No one has.
And it makes me upset because I'm like, I know I'm better than this. But if you saw my Explore page, that might be a good dating thing to do. You just tell a girl, let me see your Explore page. Do you think your Explore page is a good representation of your personality and your interests?
You know what? I'm going to go look right now.
Go to your Explore. If it's not, I can tell you what I think it is. Because you want me to tell you what I think it is? I think it's motivational videos of people talking about the music industry.
Okay.
I think it's bad bitches. I think it's NBA highlights. And I think it's what else might be in there for you? I think that's the top 3, bro.
Sounds like,
I would say that's the top
every
3
nigga's
for you.
Explorer page under the age of 30.
Yeah.
Let's see. My Explorer page.
Let me see it. Just give it to me.
This is some bullshit.
Let me see this.
It's some ridiculous news.
A lot of hip hop stuff.
A lot of hip. Because I feel like that's what
Easy E and LL Cool J did. What? Yeah. Not as many bad bitches as I would have thought. But a lot of like shade roomy type of posts.
But I don't get that because I don't look at shade room type posts. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of stuff I have to start like.
A lot of music stuff. I
think it's my followers, and it's a lot of things my followers watch. Mm-hmm. So even if I like passively look at it, it gives me because I hate.
You want to see mine?
Yeah, let's do it. I hate those. See, this is more like the stuff like DJing and shit.
Yeah,
like a lot of people
stuff,
making music. Yeah.
I knew it'd be a lot of music stuff. I'm scared.
This is gonna be nice.
Hey, bro.
The first thing I see is some titties.
Yeah.
Man, some nice ones too.
They're
okay. Okay, yeah. You got Thuggin. What's her name from Power?
I don't even follow her. I don't even watch Power.
It's so funny.
Shout out to Chris Lofton. But I don't watch Power, bro. I've never watched any of the Powers. Why is she in my Explorer? I don't even follow her.
Because she cute.
I don't follow her.
You got the shade room type of, if you think you're behind in life, then watch this.
A lot of motivational stuff.
You got Tyler, the Creator, dancing this shit and NBA highlights.
Yeah.
And a lot of motivational quotes and NBA shit.
Yeah.
Classic.
And I've had to rework my page to not have so many bad bitches in there.
Oh, I believe it.
Because I had to look at myself like, nigga.
Wait, it becomes too much too. Like, I'll put it this way.
Let me put it this way. There's people that we both know where every bad woman, you go to their page and you see your homies liking them posts. Trillion percent. One. You were it for a long time, if we being honest. I used to go to so many girls' pages. I don't know if you in a relationship. I don't know your life at this point. This is a minute ago. This is a long time ago. I used to look up and I'm like, this nigga is everywhere. Bro, I'm telling you.
Maestro, like my maestro.
You don't understand. There's like 3 friends that are like that, one of which you know.
Oh, I know.
I ain't gonna expose them.
PC.
Yes.
No, bruh. Every single one of them.
It's sickening. And I'll be like, I laugh because I'm like, man, we all got taste.
No, facts.
We all have taste, but that's
everything.
Too much. Because I don't do that. A lot of girls, if I like, I'm not just finna be liking because I know people be looking. Right. Just like I've seen your name. We done seen PC. I'm like, I don't want people to know what I'm on. Right, I might just go on slip and slide in that DM. But you do gotta like a few posts. But for you to see what I liked, you would have had to scroll down her page.
You don't be just at the top.
No, why would you do that? Bro, I like the post, and I don't be outraged like this no more because I'm like somebody right now. Uh-huh. This is past stuff I used to do.
Based on when this podcast comes out.
This is past stuff that I used to do. I used to go on girls' page, and I'm liking the post that don't got no likes. She ain't even in it. It might be a picture of the sunset and her feeding the sand with a book she reads.
Baby, I like your perspective.
I'ma like that. Mm-hmm. So you ain't gonna see that because you liking the picture with the titties like every other nigga.
So I'm basic. But you're only liking the sunrise so you can see the titties. Maybe add some sun.
Yeah. But you're not gonna see that. As my homie, if you go on her page, you're not gonna even know that I did that. and I never follow. If you following all these girls, you tripping. Are you doing that?
No,
you had a phase.
I used to. Yeah, I follow now. See, here's my problem. A lot of people I follow are muted. If we're being honest,
that's crazy.
But it's because certain people. It's like, hey, I really do. Like, I fuck with you. Like, you're cool. I won't even say that. You've always been solid to me. Mm-hmm. So I rock with you in one capacity. But I know that I would never want to, like, see the kinds of things you post continuously because a lot of it is really basic shit. Yeah. And it's negative energy all around. Yeah. And then it's you saying, oh, why everybody throwing negative energy?
It's you.
It's you. So I rather mute those things. Or one of the things, another reason I changed my algorithm, one of the things I just don't like is it's like, hey, I respect the fuck out of anybody who has like a talent or something they work on or something that they're like, if all you're going to post is that you're bad, like, cool, that's fire. Now, listen, when I look at someone's Instagram page, I look at it and I go, okay, what exactly are you selling with anybody? Anybody. So are you selling comedy? Okay, cool. Okay. Are you selling, you're an actor? Oh, you're doing sketch. Okay, cool. You selling, you making music? Okay, I see you doing whatever. If every picture is you and you're a bad chick, then okay. So are you selling you? Is this what you're selling? Because if that's what's going on, cool. Yeah. Or are you just like, hey, let's see what's out there? And I always am.
And you don't rock with that.
Yes.
You want to know what's for sale.
Yeah, what's for sale?
And if what you're selling is bad, then you get muted.
Yes, or not even. Yeah, or if what you're selling, I won't even call it bad, but if what you're selling is something that I feel is,
not for you.
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
Okay.
You know, I need something of, I know I can be basic. I know that my thought process isn't always like elevated to where it needs to be. So I want things that are going to force me in the right direction. And if you're just easing down another direction that I just know is not conducive for myself, it's like, you know.
Yeah. You have a way of saying a lot of like, you say a real smart to say what you really saying. It's like, I don't fuck with your content, dog. This nigga is like, but the way that I see it, it's not that I don't enjoy the content. It's just that at the time that my mind is consuming the content, like, nigga, you don't like it. So you mute it. But you rock with the person. Yeah, sometimes you can rock with a person and not rock with what they
And like I
post.
said, they can be solid. You always been solid to me. I can know you ain't shit. Yeah. But if I'm like,
I don't know if you need to look at me in my eyes and point to me when you say it. You can say a person.
We both know that, but if I know you've always been 100 with me, then I'm going to hold that wherever that is. So even if you're doing some shit and I'm like, man, this shit is terrible, whatever, I'm going to support because I'm like,
you can like the person and not like their art.
Yeah, or not only art. I'm talking about even how they, you know how you can like some people, but you know it's like, man, they're probably not the best person. But luckily, I don't experience that.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
That's more what I'm getting at.
Interesting. Yeah, bro. I know in this day and age, people hold such a weight on the following somebody thing. And I don't follow a lot of people because of what you just said. Not so much not being a good person, because if you're not a good person, you probably won't be in my life.
Right.
But there's some people where I'm like, I just don't like your content. I don't like what you post. And also, I want to be able to see what my friends are posting. If I'm following 3,000 people, I'm missing I only rock with 100 of y'all, 200 of y'all.
That's exactly.
And I want to be able to see what's going on. I already don't see what my friends are posting. Right. So if it's 3,000 people, how are you actually supporting 3,000 people?
No, you're not.
You're not, bro. You're not. Yeah. A lot of times that's the new social thing. What's your IG? It's like, take my number, bruh. If we actually gonna be friends, hit my line. Most people that you follow, you never even talk to.
100%.
Let alone see they content on their page. So I'm like, bruh, why am I following all these people? It doesn't make sense. I want to follow people that I rock with, who I support, and I want to see their content. Everybody else, y'all are passive friends at best. Really, it'd be a lot of acquaintances. People you meet out and about, you like, oh, because that's the thing that people do.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not doing that. That's why I don't follow a bunch of girls. Because I'm like, if I'm not actually pursuing you, then what are we doing this for? Because a lot of girls just want the follower. They're, of course, they're like, yeah, follow me.
Oh, yeah.
No.
And then especially
I'm not about to do that.
But some girls, I've seen this before too. It's like they just want, verified people follow.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna verify it for you. I'm not gonna do that. I don't like doing that, bro. But I know, some people could look at that like you just want to have a page that looks exclusive. Whatever you want to cut it as, I want people to know I don't fuck with everybody.
No, and that's a great way to show it too.
And you need to know that.
Yeah.
So don't even ask for my IG because a lot of these people, bro, will be the same people that scroll past your post.
Oh, they
not finna comment. They not finna like. They not finna actually show support. And bro, it's crazy. Like even in the comedy space, I've been rocking. I've been moving crazy for a long time. Yeah. And these so-called people who rock with you, bro, I rarely even get a fire emoji. When I'm posting that, I'm in a theater of 3,000 people. Yeah, that's crazy. Rarely does somebody even go like, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Just the fire, just a boop.
Yeah.
You killing it. Rarely, bro. And I see it's rare. It's usually just the comedians that are in my circle.
Right.
The community of people, they be low-key hating, bro. People low-key, and it may not just be outwardly, but somehow people will see your post and see you doing your thing, and they'll go, I ain't finna like that. Or maybe they do it subconsciously, like, If I saw anybody in my community rocking like that, bro, you going crazy.
No, 100%.
Fire emoji. Bro, I see you, bro. I'm proud of you. That's crazy.
Everybody's not built like that, bro.
Yeah.
Sadly enough. Like, because I know what you mean. I'm
you see
the same way. But
when you start winning, people get quiet.
But you also got to factor in a lot of those people, man. It's jealousy because either they never got certain opportunities that they feel they should have gotten.
Yeah.
Or B, their talent's just not at the same level.
Yeah.
And the problem though is subjectively we all can't see our own talent. So
yeah, 100%.
So it's
the universe will show you.
Yeah. The universe.
The universe ain't gonna never lie.
And you got to learn too. Like, think how many people probably like shit on like upcoming, whether it's comedy or anything else, shit on somebody who was up and coming, right?
Oh, damn.
And they were never the best.
Mm-hmm.
But if they wouldn't have shit on that guy would have ended up helping them.
Yeah.
And then been like, oh, he's not the best at blah, 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 but he kills at this.
100%.
And you had, like you said, that community, that camaraderie. Now 2 people are living better.
100%.
But people always feel like, no, I'm supposed to be the guy.
Yeah.
And if they see somebody else, and I can definitely say, like, I've worked on myself even with stuff like that when I was even saying, like, leapfrogging. Like, for sure, I feel like a lot of, and I could definitely see it in comedy, a lot of comedians are very like, what the fuck? Because, like, they're not doing, they thought things would be a little different by now.
Yeah, 100%.
And then when you see somebody moving at a accelerated speed, now mind you, they don't know the work that you've done to be at this accelerated speed. They don't. So it's, it doesn't matter how you're doing it. It's just the fact that when they see someone doing that accelerated speed, sometimes they go like, oh, well, and then they want to make excuses for why you're there.
It's also a crab in a barrel kind of mentality in comedy, because people do feel like there can only be one person really popping at a time.
Yeah.
So I understand it. And I also understand that it's also not fair to put on people the kind of love that you would give or that you would like to receive, because everybody ain't built like you, to your point. Because I'ma always show love. If somebody I just like seeing people win.
Yeah.
I love seeing people win. A lot of people enjoy seeing others win as well, just not if they not winning.
Yeah.
What's the old quote where it's like, I want to see you do good, just not better than me. Mm-hmm. A lot of people do internalize that and feel that way. But for me, I feel like it's enough wins for everybody. It's enough sun for everybody. And to your point about that lightning in a bottle kind of people, some people just have a slower build, but they gonna be on forever. Facts. And some people pop fast, and then you don't hear from them in a couple years. People fade. Yeah. So to me, I've always been just trying to like keep on slowly, just climbing, keep on slow. Every year, just do better, do better, do better. And it's been going well. But I've never felt like I was going to ever win watching what somebody else is doing. I've always been like, keep your blinders on. I'm a horse in a race. I don't look left. I don't look right. I look straight. And when I see somebody win, I'm like, oh, that's crazy. Do your thing, man.
Yeah, but no, because it's misleading. Like, as somebody who, and I think that's something that just comes with time, too, that a lot of people don't. A lot of people, it's like going to jail. A lot of people can do the time, but they don't learn anything from the time. You see what I mean? So like,
that's good.
If you're doing the time and you're learning from the time, you start, like you said, you see the people who fall off. You see the people who leapfrog. You see the people, but you overall, you're like, well, I'm further than I was when any of these people started. That guy was, man, he had the greatest year ever.
Yeah.
And now he might never get hired again.
Quiet. Well, can I ask you a question? What do you feel the difference is from people you've seen have longevity in their careers and those lightning in a bottle kind of people who started off with you? And obviously you can go pick whatever decade you want at this point, because I'm sure you've seen a lot of people come and go. But what was the common denominator you've seen for people who've still been in the business as long as you and people who fall off? I know it's a kind of a loaded question.
No, I mean, definitely gonna say, just to get it out of the way, luck definitely will always, it has some weight in it. You know, some people some shit just don't go right. You know what I mean? Even if they have been doing, maybe certain roles just don't come through, or they don't have the right team, or a lot of things can make things fall through the cracks, you know? But I think a lot of it is number one, attitude. Like, attitude's a huge part about it. Because I think it's the mindset and attitude. Because at the end of the day, if you're working, even if it's on small stuff, for a very long time, or over the course of time, you're more appreciative every time you get on a set. You're more appreciative every time, you know, you get really close on something. You're more appreciative when you're able to do the thing you love to do. 100%. Opposed to people who have that lightning in the bottle, they feel like, well, it's never going to go away. Like, I've been cursed and fortunate to have and see both sides. I had lightning in a bottle. Like, I did more shit at 8 than most people ever do in their full career. Yeah. But I'm 8. Yeah. So, like, I have no context of, like, oh, this isn't how shit always is. And my parents were keeping me pretty grounded, so because I was still living in Chicago doing whatever. Yeah. But I can only imagine who I'd be if I had never stopped working until I was like 24 years old, and say I had some show that I had a Blackish or something, and I had never stopped. Fuck you gonna tell me? Yeah. Like, nigga, what, nigga? Like, what? You telling me you can't get on a show? You can't do blah. Like, your mindset, the whole shit's just
you don't have any perception.
No perception. You don't understand how hard it is to do something. It's like when you're a kid and you're just like, well, mom, why don't you just buy it? Like, damn, like, what the? Then you get older and you're like, how the fuck was she buying any of that shit?
That's how, like, rich white people be like, how are people poor? Like, you've never seen, you don't know anything outside of what you've experienced in your life. Yeah.
And I think that's really the difference. And even the people who do, if they have that lightning in the bottle, if you notice, a lot of times they'll have a little, and then they come back. You know what I mean? Because America,
you can't stay hot forever.
You can't stay hot forever, and also America loves a comeback story.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, but yeah, it's a turbulent game, bro. Like, it's so many things can go right, so many things can go wrong. And then I think there's people, the kind of person I'm hoping to try to be, is the people who just kind of always like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. Like, I've done X amount in acting, I've done X amount of music, I wanted to finally do more things in my career that I spearhead. Like, that's why I think comedy's so cool that you do stand up, because it's, you know what the audition grind's like. You know what like, come on, seriously, like, how many times am I going to tap dance for you before you're like, that's our guy? Bruh. Like,
hundreds,
thousands. Yeah. So why am I going to keep playing that game when we live in a world where I can create my own content, whatever that may be, whatever that thing is going to be. Yeah. And like I said, brand me and just let y'all come to me when y'all ready. And if y'all never ready, I'll be cool over here.
You'll still be doing me.
With these 100,000 people, because let's be real, you're telling me, and I sometimes say things out loud to say it to myself too. It's like, you're telling me in fucking 10 years, if you're really focused on doing this, and it can be way faster than 10 years, but bare minimum, 10 years, you're telling me you can't get somehow 1,000 people a year
to really
subscribe to you for $9.99 or $99 cents or $1, like on some Patreon shit. Like, in 10 years, that's 10,000 people who are subscribing for whatever the fuck you're selling.
Yeah.
And that's not that hard.
No.
It's not that hard.
That's very doable. If you're doing anything consistently, you're going to be getting better. And over time, that pays off. It's dividends, bro. So one of the biggest things I've seen in this business, people who fall off, they lose their enthusiasm for the art because of the result. So people get jaded.
Right.
Because auditioning will make you not like acting because you're result driven. You go, okay, am I going to get a call back? Oh, I got the call back, bro. I got the call back for this project I love. Oh, I'm close. They put a pin in me. Oh, I'm on a veil. Oh, it's lit. I knew I killed that off. Now you praying, you seeing angel numbers. Everything is pointing to you getting this role. Your team hits you, like, this the call I've been waiting for. You done had butterflies in your stomach for 5 days as they held you. Your team call. Casting really loved you.
They're big fans.
They're big fans of you. The creative team decided to go in another direction, but everyone loved you. We'll get them on the next one.
You know what's fucked up? Why they all got the same script?
The same speech,
it's
bro.
the same nigga. So I'm like,
script.
did you get? Are you with the same reps I got? Because
the same script. We all know it.
Big fans.
Big fans.
Different direction. But everyone loves you, and we'll get them on the next one.
They loved you. Ain't everybody real enough to just be like, this some bullshit.
No,
what the
not.
fuck they playing with our emotions?
Yeah.
And the fact that they can hold you, put a pin on you for I've been on hold for projects for weeks.
Yeah.
And they could just do that, play with show and then just say no.
What kind of Roman Coliseum bullshit is it?
Insane,
that they tell
dog.
you for some shit that's going to be recorded. They tell you, well, I know it's for a TV show, but we're going to do it like theater. We're going to make you come in for a test. You're going to sit in front of all these executives.
Crazy.
And perform these awful fucking whatever you choose your network jokes that you know ain't funny. You're not a fan, but you giving them the juice, the smile. Oh, and by the way, before you go in there, check this out.
Sign this.
This
will change your life.
So you could.
This will change your life.
Bro, I've been sitting there reading that contract.
It's evil.
I'm like, man, shit, nigga, $35,000 a week. You know what a
evil,
nigga doing? $35,000. Bro, 2 weeks, a nigga's doing better. Like, what are we talking about?
The fact that they should pay us if they put you on hold for a project, you should get paid.
Yeah, you definitely should.
Because the emotional turmoil that we have to endure during that time is unreal, bro.
And when you didn't get picked too, it's like depending on how you look at things. Like, fortunately, I've done this long enough, and my mindset and just the way I look at shit in general, I've now hit the point where I always in the beginning would tear up my sides after I did the audition.
Yeah.
After the age of, I would say, like 16, I started being like, fuck it. If they're going to pick me, they're going to pick me. If they're not, they're not. Somewhere once I moved out here, got a little bit more back into the man. Kind of hope they pick me.
Yeah.
But then once again, I'm back to just like, hey, it is what it is. Because at the end of the day, I see more influencers and rappers in acting roles than I see real fucking actors who are our age.
Yeah.
Let's be real. So if that's what's going on, I feel like if we're being honest, I'm playing the wrong game.
Yeah.
And some of the biggest actors who are even in our age group and lane, like half the motherfuckers are British, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if I'm going to read for something, I'm going to do my work. I'm going to give the best read possible, and I'm going to do my thing.
Yeah.
And then after that, whatever the fuck you guys want to do with it, you go do with it.
That's the most mature and sustainable way to look at things. Mm-hmm. But I've found even myself, when I first moved to LA, I felt like I was going to book everything I auditioned for. Because I was just like I was always like, I know I'm coming with something that these other actors are not.
Yeah.
I just felt hungry and I was delusional in my belief. And over time, that little enthusiastic child in you, it just gets a little smaller and less confident by the audition if you let it. And I've had to check myself recently because I started to get in a space that is like the unhealthy version of what you just described. I think it's healthy to go, I just did my best work, felt good about it. Now I can release it. If it comes back, amen, thank God. Mm-hmm. But I'm not in control of that. My version of that was like, it don't matter how good I do, I'm not going to get it. Because of everything you name, they picking social media people, or they already got an actor that's on their short list that they just haven't heard from yet. It's just like, it is what it is, bro.
I think that's part of the journey of it, though, if we're being honest.
It is. But that's the jaded journey that some people either choose to continue to believe in or you choose to transition to what you're talking about.
And that's kind of where, because I don't get me wrong, I have those moments where you dip into that and you're like, man, this shit ain't gonna matter. But I feel that this shit don't matter, they're not gonna pick me anyway attitude. The only positive of that is it leads you in other directions of things where you're like, well, what's some shit I can control? Because I know with myself, like frustration, and when I'm jaded and frustrated and feel like shit's against me, that's really when I start to go, okay, well, you know what? Fuck that. What's the other way around that? Because I'm gonna get where the fuck I'm going. Oh, that street closed? Fuck that street.
Yeah.
Even if I gotta drive all the way, I'm gonna figure that out. But that's what's gonna lead me to figuring it out. Yeah. Because otherwise, a nigga might sit at the red light for a little bit and say, well, they said they're gonna open the street in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I don't like being that guy.
I will say, I think that is a unique trait to have. I think you're the exception, not the rule.
I see what you're saying.
Most people are not built like that. You've learned this over so much time and, experiences in this industry, but a lot of people get jaded and they sit in that space. And one of my acting teachers used to call it the smelly coat, right? A lot of people wear this coat of like, they've heard so many no's and got close so many times that they just wear it on them. And you don't even know you're carrying it. It's invisible. Yeah. And it stinks. And you walk into these audition rooms or tapes
and they see it.
It's a feeling, bro. Yeah. It's not something that's quantifiable.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
But you also know that actor who's walking in, they like, hey, whether I get this or the next one, I know I'm going to win. And people feel that. And they're like, this person has an indifference that's like attractive.
Right.
And you walk in, you walking in that, and casting people are like, I just believe in this person. But the smelly coat people, that's how people lose in this business. Because they don't even know they've been wearing it for years.
No, that's completely true. I feel it's the same with the people who come in. When you're saying that, I was like, who was I thinking of? Or the people who come in and it's, I really need this job.
Desperation.
And desperation
that's
is
another part of this smelly coat.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's definitely a part of either that or something, because it don't always look the same. Desperation and determination it's a fine line.
Yeah, it's very, very, they cousins for sure.
But if that shit looks a little more desperation than determination.
Because hunger will lead you to exactly what you just said. You take a different street.
Yeah.
Desperation to have you sitting at that stoplight. It'll open. I just gotta stay right here. I gotta stay right here. I'm gonna stay right here and I'm not gonna move. Other actors like, you can get to where you're going if you just take another street. No, this is the street. I swear this
is the way you do it.
This is the way you do it. This is the only way to go.
Yeah.
I think Leslie Jones, I'm sure you may have seen this online. She had a really cool thing about desperation because she said Cat Williams changed her perspective, because he used to be like, the minute you get rid of your desperation, you'll blow up. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm broke. I'm hungry. I need this desperation. And he's like, no, you're not broke because you have talent. Now you need to be operating from your talent, not from your desperation. Because when you got talent, you ain't never broke. You just don't have it right now. And she said that changed her whole perspective.
Damn.
Once she took that in, she blew up. As crazy as Cat is, he said something that wise. I'm like, man, that's great.
It's
that's
funny
because
that nigga's wild, but he's like extreme. When I listen to it, like even interviews, he's really smart.
Really smart, dude.
And also growing up in, the way he grew up and everything, like you got to be sharp.
Yeah.
There's no way around it, even if it's street sharp, like, nigga, that's sharp. You know, just in a different way.
And you, as comics, you have to be unique. Do you think, I was thinking about this the other day. Do you think every big comedian has a very distinct voice? Like, even if you didn't know who it was and you heard a video playing,
you know, it's wild.
You're like, oh, that's what's in that.
I never thought about that.
But they
just
do.
said that. No, they definitely do.
If you heard a Dave Chappelle joke and he wasn't in the room, you'd be like, oh, that's Dave Chappelle.
Right.
Oh, that's Kevin Hart. Oh, that's Cat Williams. Just by their
Cadence,
voices.
voice. Yeah.
Eddie Murphy. Oh, that's Eddie Murphy.
Chris Rock, for sure.
That's Chris Rock.
Yeah. Damn,
that's Martin. Wild. That's Chris Tucker, of course.
Oh, yeah.
But every big comedian, they
voice.
have a distinct voice. Even the white ones. Bill Burr, you're like, oh, that's Bill Burr.
Right. That is very true.
And I think it's similar to music. When I hear somebody's music, if their voice isn't memorable,
oh yeah,
you just tune out.
Mm-hmm.
It's even some rappers like that I don't necessarily think are that talented, like a 42 Doug or somebody like that, where I'm like, but I know his voice when I hear it.
Baby,
I know his voice.
You know his voice, yeah.
It ain't even necessarily what they saying; they just sound good saying it.
Right, and it's unique. They sound good saying it, and it's unique enough and different enough that you haven't heard it before. But
Kodak Black, you're like, oh, that's Kodak. And the sound is almost a brand in itself. The way they talk,
100%. Yeah, I mean, shit, Migos. Like what?
Nobody else is doing that. Future, even Drake, all of these people. Wayne.
You know, it's funny when you say when you say Future. I always say this about Future because we do voiceover work and stuff. I'm like, yo, do you like imagine a world where a nigga like Future grows up in like a different neighborhood, like decides he wants to go into fucking like acting or some shit like that. With his voice, think of like the villains and the like dope cartoon characters a nigga like Future could play if that's what he did.
Yeah.
Because even his voice is it's like a James Earl Jones. I don't know what the fuck he was gonna do, but like your voice is crazy, bro. 100%. Like there's something like, even if he would, James Earl Jones could have been fucking Barry White. You see my point? Like
100%.
They could have switched. They both would have been cold because it's the same, like you said, it's the same instrument and it's the same. It is musical because it's the voice.
Yeah,
it's the voice, man.
You don't think about that, but it's a part of the brand. If you don't have a recognizable voice or cadence, which goes hand in hand, all the legends do for sure.
Jerry Seinfeld, you know what that is? Bernie
Mac,
sure.
bro. You don't even
Steve
have to
Harvey.
see the man's face, and you're like, "That's Bernie."
Man,
it's kind of crazy, bro.
Damn,
so,
that's cool.
These are the things we don't think about. That's why when we talk about star power and the reason people, because to your point about luck, I call it grace. Where I'm like, there's certain people, they just have a different type of thing going on that isn't necessarily skill.
Yeah,
like we could I know comics who go to open mics every single night. And me and Chris talk about it, where he has a phrase where he says, favor ain't fair. Right. There's some people who just don't have to work that hard. There's the Allen Iversons of the world and the Kobes. Kobe had both. He was gifted, but he was a dog when it came to work ethic. AI was just cold.
And that's just what it was.
He was just gifted.
Yeah.
He ain't got to do all that. But there's a reason why Kobe is Kobe. But AI's still a legend. Don't get it twisted.
Shit, Jordan. He had to work his ass off.
So there's some people like that. And then there are some people who just are gifted. So I see a lot of comics, actors where I'm like, I just don't think they have the thing. They don't have that pull, that gravity to them that makes people like, I'm just interested in watching this person.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've been to my shows and you see comedians go up and you're like, they was funny, but I don't see them.
There's no spark.
I don't see that.
Yeah.
But what is the spark?
I know what you mean. And
you
it's
get
funny
what I'm
because
saying?
It's funny.
What is a spark?
It's undescribable because I know for a fact every time I've seen you do anything, I just know like, oh yeah, like it's just it's things you just get. Like it's almost like when people ask me certain things, or if someone tells you, if a nigga told you right now, hey, Denny, all right, I need you to read this and just like, read it. Hey, I'm Denny Love. I'm doing blah, blah, blah. Like, nigga, you got this thing in you. You're an entertainer. And I just feel like some people just, shit, you could almost just call it being an entertainer. Because some people have a life spark. So it's even like the conversation
personality.
It's a personality. But even if you can just do it on a camera, some people can just turn something on. And they're interesting to watch. Like, I realize.
What are they turning on, though? That's what I mean.
A charisma.
Where does that come from? You can't learn that.
No, you can't.
That's my point.
No, you can't.
Everybody don't have that thing. People have called it the it factor. People have called it that person's a star. And it isn't necessarily attached to your talent, because there's a lot of people who started off trash. We all start off trash.
Facts.
But there's some people who just got that thing where, like, the minute they figure it out,
there's something there.
Out of there. And to me, it's seeing a person that has identified their purpose. When you see that, because that's divine. Yeah. That's complete alignment with God. You're like, this person found exactly what they're supposed to be doing.
And they're locked
in. And they're walking in that.
Yeah.
So you put this person in a room full of people who do the same thing. And you're like, but that person, they got not only the charisma, they not only are aligned with their divinity, they got the personality too off camera. You're going to be a star.
Yeah, they're supposed to be here. This is what they're supposed to be doing.
That's where it's not a lot of them.
Right. Yeah, no,
there's not a lot of people who have that thing, bro.
No.
So when I see everybody can make it, people are like, chase your dreams, don't ever quit. I think people need to be more realistic with their ceiling, because there are some people who are hobbyists where it's like, you just good, but you ain't going to be one of the 1% that really make it at the highest level, but you can be, still a successful person.
You can make a living.
And you can make a living out of it, or, you can play music for your friends and be, talented in that sphere. A lot of people think it's this or nothing. There's plenty of space in the middle to be really good at your craft, but everybody doesn't have to be the Denzel Washingtons of the world to feel like they're successful.
And most people aren't doing the work to be the Denzel Washingtons of the world either. And I think that's where people have to, like you said, be realistic with themselves. Yeah. Also, I do think lineage has shit to do with it too, because you got to think everybody from the past, like a lot of motherfuckers didn't have personalities, right? Yeah. And then they have kids who don't really have personalities, right? Yeah. And then that's just kind of part of it. Like, I know there's certain things I do, and as I've gotten older, I see it in like my mom and my dad, and I'm like, oh yeah, like even I met your mom. Your mom funny as hell, like a ton of personality.
Just didn't pursue it.
There you go. Or had other shit that they didn't know that they could pursue it the way that we,
That's true.
And so
there's a reason why a lot of NBA players, their parents were in the NBA or super athletic.
Exactly. And then they could teach. Bro, I say this once again. My dad. It's the craziest thing. My dad has one of the highest voices you'll ever hear on him. He's super swole too, so it's like people don't fuck with him. But he has one of the highest voices ever, and I'm like, this is wild.
Like Michael?
But it's not soft.
Oh.
It's just it's more like a what was it like?
Okay,
like just like them high pitch. How
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, but I'm like, damn, if someone would have told you, like, you could be doing all kind of like voiceover work. You could have been doing all kind of shit. Even if he would have had like the kind of upbringing that gave singing lessons, think he would have been on some Eddie Kendrick shit.
Didn't have the resources.
But it's like, this is something that's here that is so unique because no one else sounds like this. So as a grown man, think how much work you would have had, even if it's voicing kids and cartoons, even if there would have been so much range. And that's just one thing. I don't know other fucking cool skills he has, but just saying that to say bro, it's lineage too. Yeah. It comes from the family.
Do you think that there's people who everything there's a time where you should quit? Like, I know you've met some people who are just not good at the thing.
Oh, yeah. I do think there's times to quit, but I also feel like quitting is so final. Whereas it's like, hey,
pivot maybe.
Yeah, pivot. I think that there's something within this that you apparently love. Go find what you're great at within this, within this whole sphere of whatever it is. Like,
but how does that work in regards to people? We all sucked,
right?
If you graded a person on like, is there a time frame thing? Like, if you trash at something for 10 years, you should probably pivot.
Well, I would say you almost would pivot before the 10 years.
I know
right?
10 is, I'm being generous with the 10.
I feel like if you
ain't good at something in the first 5 years if there isn't a inkling of like, oh, this person could really go crazy with this.
This is what I think it is. And I tell my friend this a lot too. Like, I think sometimes people have a hard time because they've never won. That's a thing. If you've never won, like, there's something in winning that just shows you like, hey man, it's possible.
It's possible, yeah.
So imagine being in Los Angeles for 10 years and you've never gotten on TV, not a guest spot,
or even close.
At that point,
yeah.
But if you've been doing things and you see it's like, man, yeah, I worked twice last year, then next year maybe year in between you ain't work at all. Then in between that, it's like, oh yeah, I got picked up for this show. What's going on?
You've had
then
some
the
moments.
show, maybe the show got canceled. But hey, all good. I did get them 6 episodes, and then I get
yeah. You've had some moments.
You've had moments, and those moments allow you to see like, well, this is what we could get here. But if you never had moments, yeah, like I don't even know how you. I remember going back, and sometimes when I get in that jaded space, sometimes I'll watch like some shit that I had done in the past. Yeah. And
I've definitely done that too.
Yeah.
Like, I can do it. I've done it before.
Yeah. And then you also, I would hope it's the same, but I'm sure it is. It's like, and you look at it and you also be like, nah, nigga, like, this is good.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, you're like, no, this is actually good. Like, 100%. I'm not bullshitting myself. I know that this is solid. This is better than some shit I watched earlier. Objectively, this is good.
Yeah.
So, and like you were saying about how some people are just, and I notice it with all obviously huge actors, but even with myself at times, I'm like, oh shit, like, that motherfucker's a little interesting to watch on TV.
Yeah,
like,
I have a thing.
Yeah, that back to the spark. It's like,
I have a thing.
You got a thing. I'll watch this, and if I would watch this shit, I know somebody else would.
Yeah.
So apparently, I'm just missing that opportunity or that right thing that's gonna come down.
But what's interesting about having a thing is it's almost, to your point, a gift and a curse, because you have to learn how to wield it. Because especially early in your career, a lot of times you get casted close to your brand or what people perceive you to be. If you haven't accentuated that and worked on making that as clear as possible.
Oh yeah, then it gets muddled and they don't. Yeah. No, I know.
You want, when people cast you, they're like, usually you get casted on how unique you are. The way you play it, nobody else could play it like that.
Yeah.
Like, what's her name? That Dominique, she's killing it right now.
Oh, Fishback, Dominique Fishback.
She's so unique, bro.
She's really good.
That you see her and you're like, nobody else is gonna play this role the way that she would play it.
Yeah, you don't even start trying to sub in actors. No. You're just like, nah, this is.
There are a lot of good actors, but the point is to make your auditions great and make them unique. That's what makes people go, okay, nobody else could play this, so I'm getting this version of the role, as opposed to a lot of people kind of playing it the same way, trying to think, what would the casting director want?
Yeah.
No, bring something to the table that makes the casting go, I didn't even think of this.
And that'll work. That is
fact. That works.
And if it doesn't work for the role that you will be in their minds fresh for the next thing.
That's why I'm like, you got to be, whatever you're selling, to get to the point about selling, make your product so uniquely you that when people come by it, they're like, oh, I'm getting the Denny Love performance. I'm getting, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's a different vibe.
Shit, think of it this way. Look at how Christopher Walken talks.
I'm sure he got told no so many times.
People probably were like, hey,
go to a vocal coach.
There's punctuation in the script for a reason. So that's what he says he does. When he first gets the script, his thing is he just slashes all the punctuation. That's why he takes those cadences and he talks where he wants to. Like, and it's like, there's no comma there.
Yeah.
But he's going to put one there. And think how weird that was to somebody before. It was like, oh no, that's his thing though. I feel like that's another thing too. That's
so interesting.
Find your thing. And then if you believe in it, you got to fucking stick with it. Cause I feel a lot of people, and I know this happens in comedy all the time, probably a lot of people go in one way and then they start seeing like, well, same with music. That seems to be working. That seems to be popular. Why don't I just start trying to do it like that? And then you lose what would have been special about you.
And a lot of times what's special about you, people don't get right away. It probably took people so long to buy into the Christopher Walken thing.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
or any. That's what I mean about the unique. You gotta have talent. You gotta work your ass off, but you also gotta have that God-giving grace type of thing. Because we could go from music to comedy to acting. All of the people that we've mentioned, they're so uniquely them. You put Denzel Washington in any role. You're like, that's the Denzel thing.
You know what's so funny? I was literally, the whole time you're saying this, I'm like, Denzel Washington and Samuel L. Jackson. Two people who...
Nobody could play their roles.
How do you brand motherfucker, first off? Second off...
It's a great word.
Everything Denzel Washington does, bro. Everything he does, if you pay attention to it, it's like you said, that's the Denzel face. That's the brand.
That's the Denzel
he's doing the turnaround. Like...
From the point, bro.
Yeah, like it's so you.
It's so uniquely him, and he is. You could put him in any scenario. He could go be the garbage man tomorrow, and we would believe him.
And he would still be doing it like Zell.
He would still be doing it like
Imagine Zell in space,
just floating on you, motherfuckers. Huh? But that's what I mean about. It ain't gonna be for everybody.
Yeah.
But when you do hit,
you
want to be the person that hits and they go, nobody else could play this role. I'm buying the thing that you're selling.
Yeah.
And we gonna sell that to America.
And once again, once you figure out what that is and you brand it and you sell it, they're gonna hop right on board.
100%.
And that's why the most important thing is making your own content, doing your own thing.
Yeah.
And not chasing anybody else's game. Because like you said, you can sit there and try to chase, but too many pieces are out of your control. Now you look, hey, when those auditions come up and hey, you pop in, you do whatever. But you know what's gonna happen? It's gonna be hilarious because I already know in the next 2 years, there's gonna be a million fucking things coming your way that it's gonna be more so like, hey, Denny, we want you to read, like, not Black 24 to like, no, Denny, because he's got heat on this and he's connected to this and that's what it's gonna be.
100%.
Off of some shit you coordinated. Really quickly though, I want to ask you, where did acting come from and then how did that bleed over into comedy? What was that journey?
Comedy is just in the DNA. To your point about, I feel like I might be one of the least funnier people in my family. Everybody in my family is hilarious. Mm-hmm. And I know everybody could say that about their family, but you met my mom, bro. Yeah. It's just she has that spark. People get around her. She takes over a room. My dad is the same way, but a very different sense of humor. He's more dry with his, but a funny person.
See, that's amazing.
I grew up around funny people. So in order to get attention in my family, you had to be funny because everybody was saying something funny. Big personalities. So it taught me early on, I gotta take up space.
I entertain.
Yeah. Before I even knew, I didn't grow up in a place where I go outside and see billboards. I'm from Madison, Wisconsin. I didn't even know a comedy club existed until I was in college.
That's wild.
So I didn't know that was a course that I could take, but I always loved watching Comic View and Def Jam. I loved funny movies. Yeah. I loved laughing and making people laugh. So it was in my DNA. I just didn't know I could do it for a profession. Not even a million years thought I could do it as a profession. I just liked doing it.
That's crazy.
The acting thing was the same way. I was like, I almost thought the people on movies, they lived in the TV. I was like, I just like watching movies, but I can't be an actor. It wasn't until I took a class in high school, which I took it just because I thought, I was like, people told me you could get an easy A. I'm like, my grades wasn't shit. So people like, bro, do theater. You get an A. Everybody get an A if you do. It's like gym. If you go, you gonna get an A. So I'm like, okay, cool. And it wasn't until one of my teachers saw that spark, which was really just my personality being like, I think you should audition for a play. And I'm like, them kids is weird, bro. I'm like, I'm not finna do that's how I perceived it. You know, growing up in hood environments, anything outside of what black people do, you like, that's corny. Mm-hmm. All them theater kids, they weird. Nah, I'm not doing that. I think it was the next summer, or the whole summer came back the next year. This teacher is still like, you should really audition for that play. I'm like, man, it's a cool white lady. Like, She keep bugging me about this. All right, man. Dang. And bro, it sounds cliche, but I remember auditioning for this play and I stood on stage. And I literally felt like a light, like a warm light in me. And I was like, whoa, I've never felt like this for anything before. It just felt like home, like God being like, this is where you need to be.
Right.
And after that, bro, I had played sports my whole life. I was a basketball player growing up. My brother went to school for ball. My dad was like a sports dad. So I was like, oh, that's my way to go to college. Because it wasn't grades. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go JUCO, just to get out of this town. But I didn't know what my purpose was. And then I stepped on that stage and I was like, whoa, this feels crazy. And I just ran with it, bro. So I was trying to do everything. I started consuming everything I could learn about the business. Cause I'm like, how do I do it? Is it like, how do you actually become an actor?
Right.
I would just read. I would go on IMDb or Wikipedia at the time. I was reading everything about every actor that I knew in like Denzel and everybody that I was, and the common denominator that I found was most of these people went to theater school. So I was like, oh, okay, word, I got to go to theater school. I wanted longevity. So I looked at all the people that were great for a long time. A lot of them went to, they trained. So I was like, all right, I got to go to theater school. And, by the grace of God, DePaul University, they like came to my high school and were giving a talk. How they kind of like do the college recruit, whatever. And they mentioned that they had a theater school and it was one of the top 25 theater schools in the country. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to audition there. I only auditioned for one theater school, and it was that one.
And you got in.
And I got in, bro. And they were only at the time accepting 43 students around the whole country. And my crazy, and that's why I mean grace, bro. Yeah. Favor ain't fair.
That's what I was just gonna say.
I was not supposed to.
Highly favored. My mom always says that.
Insane, bro. Yeah. I literally have highly favored tatted on my wrist. Crazy, your mom says that.
She always said blessed and highly favored.
Bro, because it doesn't even make sense. Yeah. I don't have a single actor in my family. I didn't know nobody who was an actor. Nobody in my city was a big actor. I didn't have nobody to point to.
Yeah.
I didn't even really know what a monologue was. I was learning all these things on the fly. And by the grace of God, I got in and everything went crazy. And it wasn't until I got to theater school, living in a city like Chicago, where it is more of a creative space.
Right.
Now I see people my age doing stand-up. And now I see there's comedy clubs around. I'm like, I always kind of been funny. Like, I think I could do that.
Right.
That's how comedy got into play. Because I was like, oh, here's a place where it actually is happening. Right. And of course, the first time I did stand up, I bombed. And I was like, oh, nah, that ain't for me, bruh. But my perception was just skewed when I look back. Now I'm like, I didn't bomb. It was just an open mic. That's kind of how the culture of an open mic when you're working on your material. But my perception growing up was Comic View, Def Jam, people falling out laughing. So I'm expecting that.
Right.
And I go up and it's an open mic.
Right.
So people, even if you are good, it's kind of like, huh. So I'm like, no, I ain't doing that, dog.
Once again, the process, when you don't know the process, you think it's one thing and it's a completely different thing.
100%. So it took me a while to get back into it because my ego.
Where'd you do it first? And
I actually think I did it in Minnesota. Like I was randomly in Minnesota and a friend who was a comedian was like, oh, you can get up here. And I did it and it was bad. But then next time I did it, I killed. And I was like, okay, that gave me
You had to see that win.
I had to see that win. That's real, bro. I had to see that win because people there's a lot of people who are funny, but you're not stand-up funny. And people don't know the difference. You do have to be funny to be stand-up funny, but stand-up is an art form, bro. You got to write. You got to have concepts. You got to punchline. It's more of a craft.
There's no shit just happening.
No.
Like in life, it's cool. It's like, oh, if you got all your friends over, they doing shit, you can observe.
Roasting them. And people love to think because they the funniest person. Bro, do you know how often, as a comedian, people come up to me like, man, I'm trying to do that comedy thing, bro. How I get into it? I'm like, go do open mic. Yeah, I'm like the funniest person in my friend group. I'm like, that doesn't matter. Because when you go perform in real life, they don't know you. People don't know your sense of humor. They don't know they don't know how you think.
They might not even fuck with your sense of humor.
No.
Yeah.
And your family, they know how your dumb ass think because they grew up with you. Right. So it's funny when you do certain things because they know how you are.
They know the root of the joke without
they
you
know
saying
it.
Yeah.
They know you.
Yeah.
When we perform in real life, I perform in front of people. They've never seen me a day in their lives.
Right.
And I have 10 seconds to make them believe and feel comfortable making them laugh. Because to laugh, you have to feel comfortable.
That's very true.
People got to be able to trust you. You've seen it, bro. You've gone to shows and you know almost immediately if this person is going to make you laugh.
100%.
Same with music. You almost know immediately if you like a song.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of time to make a first impression. You hear casting directors talk, they're like, oh, I knew right away. Minute their tape started.
The second you walk in, they know.
They're like, okay, this person is in the running. They know. Mm-hmm. It doesn't take people a lot of time to be like, oh, yeah. So I'm like, bro, this art form, a lot of people don't understand process. They see result. I'm sure you got friends and family who see you in it and they like, oh, I can do it. You're like, if you knew what the journey was to make it look this easy, you wouldn't want to do it.
Bro, that's why I hate even telling people because I know how the shit works. I hate even telling people when there's something I want to do and I'm like, man, I want to try that one day. Because I know what it sounds like when people say certain shit to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. Like when I say that shit about things, I'm like, no. I've decided I'm going to go on this shitty trail for the next 5 to 10 years.
You won't even see me.
Wherever it goes, it goes. But but you have to know that because like you said, most people, oh man, that's cool. Man, I saw him doing that. Well, yeah, nigga, you just start seeing me doing it now that I'm on flyers and shit.
Yeah. And it's a compliment.
Yeah.
It is a compliment because people, when they say things like, man, they hear your music, they're like, I want to try that music thing. Or they see me do comedy. Bro, I want to try that comedy thing. I want to try acting. It's because we make it look so easy that it seems accessible. Mm-hmm. It's the same way, I'm sure both of our dumbasses done went on the court, did a move and said, Kobe, and airballed, hit it off the backboard.
It ain't so easy.
Because you don't understand that he spent 10,000 hours doing that one pivot move 120 and thousands of times.
And still didn't hit it every time.
And we look at it and we like, I'm going to go do that.
In the gym for 15 minutes. Kobe, nigga, you ain't been here in 2 years.
No.
Like, what the fuck are you talking
There's
about?
a reason for these things, bro. But if people knew the process, people would fold early.
No one wants to be
I don't even know if I would have made it this long. If God would have told me, all right, what you want, this is what the journey is gonna look like. Here's the ups, here's the downs. Here's what it's gonna, I'll be like, and I'm gonna have to do that for how long?
Exactly.
Bro, it's still 10, whatever,
niggas
12 years
details
later, and I'm still don't feel like I'm close
to
where I'm getting to. I know I'm
you're
walking
making strides,
in that. I'm making strides. It's hard for people to see that I'm not. But our visions for ourselves are so much crazier than what we're doing right now.
Oh, I know.
And I don't even know what the journey is about to look like. But I've realized more and more, and we've heard people say it our whole lives, it's the journey that counts. Mm-hmm. And now I'm realizing like, wow, that really is true. Because you never really make it.
Exactly.
There are just a bunch of moments where it feels like you did. And you got to take those in, but they are very short because you want more. You get it?
And you don't even see it. Look at everything. I also think about this. Imagine if you could look at basically what you said, but God didn't show you the whole journey. Mm. Imagine if he was like, it's like roulette, like you just spin the wheel and it just lands on an experience. Mm. So it just lands somewhere. It can land somewhere where you're at your lowest and shit's just not going right. Mm. Or it could land with you on somewhere stage at an arena.
Yeah.
But here's the crazy part. You don't know at what part of that you're in.
Yeah.
You could be at the beginning of doing arenas.
Yeah.
You could be at the end of doing arenas.
That's interesting.
You could be only up there because some guy, like you think like, oh, I'm the shit. But you could just be there because some guy said fucking, oh, I can't do it. And they found you last minute.
Either way, you're going to experience both of those things.
100%.
You just don't know when.
You just don't know when.
That's what's exciting about, and I've learned, and my faith is important to me. I believe in God. I pray every day. I used to fight it so much, bro, because I used to think I was the maker of my destiny. I used to feel like I put myself through 3 years theater school. I moved to LA. I made this happen. And now I realize I'm like, I've lost my mind trying to control the outcome of things. You really cannot, bro. So much of it is just grace and favor, right place at the right time, opportunities adding up. Bruh, I've learned to just sit in the passenger seat, enjoy this road trip, look out the window, and just be like, wow, I ain't think we was going to go here. I ain't think this was going to happen. Dang, that's crazy. As opposed to trying to grab the wheel. Because, bro, we never really have the wheel. We just think we do.
Yeah.
But so much of us are like, ah. And before you know it, you in chaos. When I sit in a place like, let me just see what God got in store for me, it's always way more lit than I thought it would be.
Oh, 100%.
Even the hard stuff where I'm like, if I would have known I had to endure that, but that was on the other end of it.
How many other things would I have endured in my life? Shit,
man.
That's one of the most important things I think in the course of the journey, though. Just trusting yourself, and I think the way you live your life has a big part to do with that as well. Because the energy you give off, like one thing you said that I completely agree with, but I was like, that was a great way to put it. When you were like, yeah, I'm not gonna follow 3,000 people because if I don't follow you, I want people to know I don't fuck with everybody. And if you're like, if I don't fuck with how you are as a person, you're probably not in my life. And I was like, yeah, there's a lot of people in business though. You're like, oh, you're a shitty person, but you make sense for business. Yeah. But I think that's another thing. There's a reason why you're favored. There's a reason, because there's just a energy you exude to people. And that shit is infectious. Yeah. Like, I don't believe, and I don't know all your friends, but I know a good amount of them. Yeah. I would never believe that if being in any situation with someone who knows you, I'd be like, oh, yo, I'm going to tell Denny pull up. And they'd be like, man, I don't know, man. You know that nigga beat. Yeah. Like, I don't know any situation. And I, honestly, with most of the niggas that you know that I know, I feel it would be the same. He was like, I'm hitting my show. Like, oh, man, what? Energies change when your name is brought up. Bro, even think of how, what did I say when I looked at your story? I'm like, nigga, you know Duke. Crazy. Oh, man, Duke is.
And he's another one of those people. You don't need to know. The first time I met him, I'm like, this is a good dude right here. Bro,
same thing I said. And me and him have known each other now, I want to say at least 3-4 years.
Such a good. Yeah. And to your point, now you just made me think about, because when you said that business thing, I thought about like, yeah, sometimes you do have to work with people that you may not think are great people. But you said it earlier, where you said you meet people and you get a different person out of them based off of who you are. Yes. So I meet people all the time and somebody may tell me like, that dude's an asshole. Then I meet the person, I'm like, he seemed great. He seemed super sweet to me. I didn't experience that. It's because of who you are. So people approach you differently. That's why I never say, when I hear people like, this celebrity's an asshole, this person's an asshole, I'm like, I would have to experience this person for myself. But you get a different person out of people.
Well, because there's also like, people have, I know for sure I'm one of those people, like some people just have, to an extent, peculiar personalities. Yeah. And not everybody.
Especially in this art form. Like, for just in art, there, you kind of got to have weird personalities.
Like you said, you got to be unique, or who fucking cares? And I think a lot of times, or a unique perspective, especially, I mean, that's why a lot of people make the joke about like comedians. They're like, oh yeah, of course, like any good comedian is not happy. Yeah. Like, it has a shit ton of darkness because like it's part of a perspective thing, and everyone's not going to like your perspective. No. But I do think when you have a unique perspective, it's like it weeds out the bullshit. Yeah. Because then it allows the people who do rock with you to completely rock with you. And they don't feel like you're lying to them. Because if I sit here, cameras off, and we have a conversation about multiple things, and then you have not one negative opinion about anything, then
Who are you? What do you even think?
I can't trust you.
Do you have an opinion on? I would rather disagree. That's why I love disagreeing with people. I'm like, oh, okay, we can have a discourse. I learn how you think, and everything you're saying is real. I know you're real because you are okay with being disagreeable.
Yes.
When I meet people and they just, I agree. Yeah, that's true. I'm like, what do you think?
That's my problem with a lot of actors.
Yeah.
And that is why.
Because they want to be liked. Everybody wants to be liked.
Yeah, that's why most of my friends aren't actors. Like, I have actor friends, but like, as you know, it's like I've known them for years, or they're super real, or they're, because I don't want to be around anyone who doesn't have like you said, I like a discourse. I like a disagreeable personality to say like, no, that's bullshit. Let me tell you why. And can back that up by facts, even if I don't agree. Cool, though. Okay, I've never looked at it that way. That's a different perspective.
I know your point of view. I respect it. Even if I disagree with you, I respect that you have one.
Thank you. Yes.
A lot of people don't have point of views. They just take it off of what it's on in the zeitgeist or on social media. That's why I get nervous about doing podcasts, because I'm like, I might say something crazy. That's why comedy is tough, because I'm like, the best comedians, they say shit that's wild that you may not be supposed to say.
Yeah, no, and that's what I was going to ask. That always, to me, that was one of the things I always thought about. I was like, if I were to ever try stand-up, I was like, man, I know my sense of humor. Yeah. And I know the shit that I would make jokes about. Wow. Oh, yeah. Like, I would be one of those people who you're like, ooh.
That's wild to say.
Yeah. But I'm like, but before you find that fan base, how do those guys navigate that?
Man, I think like Bill Burr is somebody that's he's just an ornery person. That's his brand.
Yeah.
He's so solidified in that he's that guy.
That's why George Carlin
you see him go on stage
angry about
and
shit.
You go, oh, he's that guy.
Yeah.
So people buy into it because that's who you are. Now, if I went on stage saying a lot of stuff that Bill Burr says, people would be like, I'm not buying this. It's not authentic. You seem like the nice guy. Why are you talking like that? Now, I remember one time I was in the hood and I was saying some joke where I was like, a lot of old bitches in the audience tonight. And the OG comedian was like, bro, the old bitches didn't like getting called old bitches.
Of course they did.
By the way, we in like South Central. I almost got hurt this night. He's like, bro, the reason they react like that, because you don't seem like that kind of cat. You seem like a nice guy. You know, you need to be more charming. Like, when you talk, you saying old bitches ain't the same as me saying old bitches. Right. Because I give off that persona.
Yeah.
You have to solidify your persona, and then people will buy into anything. I'm more of the person who says something cheeky with a smile, and people realize like, oh, he's just being funny.
Right.
If I say like a lot of old bitches in the audience tonight, people are like, whoa. No, that don't make sense. Bill Burr say some crazy shit. You get it because his whole image is the ornery person that's gonna say some angry, mean shit. So you have, again, it's all brand.
No, I was just gonna say, to tie it back to what we've been talking about. It's your brand.
It's your brand, and it's everything. The way you talk, the way you walk.
It's
people
acting.
know
it's your perspective on how you decide to play a scene.
100%.
It's you. One thing I've always said when people's ask like, oh, how do you pull this off? Or I always say you got to know what works on you. Yeah, it's like outfits. Like certain outfits, like we've seen some motherfuckers wear some shit and we're like, that looks cool. Crazy. I would look like a dumbass.
Crazy.
But it works on that person.
Yeah.
Certain ways of doing things, like you said, you're more of the cheeky, not the old bitches. Yeah. But it's
when Cat Williams say, "What's up, bitches?" is different because when people don't feel like he's being disrespectful to women because he got on this pimp thingy, and people are like, even if he's not a pimp, we just kind of like think it's a funny character.
People cringe more when they hear Drake say "bitch" than when they hear Future say it.
It's different. It hit different because of the brand. You hear Denzel talk all the time where he says, people ask him why he doesn't do like comedies or certain type of roles. And he's like, people don't buy that from me. Kevin Hart is talking about why he doesn't do a lot of dramas. It's because people don't buy it. It's not that he's not capable of doing it. But if you saw Kevin Hart in the drama before he did like True Story and we was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but I know what you mean.
You'd be like,
Steve Carell,
come on,
same
man.
thing. It was kind of like, you gonna tell me he a boxing trainer?
Yeah, like, come on, man. Nah, it's tough.
Yeah.
That's why it's tough to be a comedian and an actor because people expect you to be one way.
Yeah, I can believe
if
that.
they start to buy you as funny and they're like, that's what I like when he does that well.
I think, though,
they don't want to see you be funny. They don't want to see you be dramatic.
Dramatic. I do think, though, in the long run, that's one of the coolest things about being a comedian and an actor. With the way this fucked up politically correct game works,
yeah,
that's going to work to your advantage in the long run.
Oh, bro, no, this is all my master plan.
You can, smart man. Once again, this is why I think comedy is one of the coolest things because I'm like, you can say what the fuck you kind of want because you know who told me this? Orlando Jones. Orlando Jones told me this. He was like, that's the beauty of being, because he's a comedian. He's like, that's the beauty of being a comedian as well as an actor. He's like, because you could always be just doing a bit. Or you could always be just.
He was joking.
I'm
you
joking.
hide behind
I say all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
And that's why it's also funnier, like the darker. Once again, I feel like that's why the Louis C.K. thing didn't stick the way that they thought it was going to stick because it was kind of like, but this guy's this. What you said, honesty. Like this guy's this guy.
Yeah, you buy it.
You buy it. He's this guy.
Whether you think it's right or wrong, you buy it.
Yeah.
Nobody was like, he did what? That's why the Kevin Hart thing, when he cheated, everybody was like, what?
Yeah.
Because he has this image of being so squeaky clean.
Yeah, he's
which
not selling.
Makes him such a marketable person, but it's also dangerous. I don't necessarily want to be that clean where if I do something or I say something crazy, they try to take everything. I want to be flawed. I want people to know I might say some wild shit.
That's where some of the best stuff's going to come from. Bro, if you couldn't say wild shit, bro, the people we look up to in comedy wouldn't exist.
How do we learn anything? Everybody thinks wild shit on a day-to-day basis. Comedians are the only people paid to say it out loud.
Facts.
That's the only difference. Facts. If you say wild shit at your day job, you might get fired. But my day job is to say wild shit.
That's amazing.
But for me, it also has to, I always try to come from a place of love. I think you can approach any topic as long as you aren't actually trying to be harmful to whatever community you're talking about.
Yeah.
I talk shit about white people all the time. I love white people. Got hella white friends. I have gay jokes, love gay people. I love everybody. So it's like, when you're coming at it, that's why I feel Dave got into such hot water with the trans community, because they didn't feel like he was coming from a joking place.
Right.
Like laughter comes from a place of love, comes from a place of healing. But if you're using comedy to hurt people, it's always going to go bad. You've seen roast in the hood where everybody being funny, then somebody says something that's a joke, but really it's coming from a bad place.
Yeah.
And that's when, it's not funny anymore.
Yeah.
But comedy treads that line.
Bad though.
I don't think it was either. And it was coming from a place of love
because he tied it with his trans friend.
Exactly. But people didn't perceive it that way.
Yeah, because I think it's just one of those things. It's like you don't. It's finally crossed that line, or they're trying to make it cross that line into where it's just like certain things you can't talk about. You just don't talk about. And, there's a list of other things that no one here wants to get canceled, but we all know the things. There's just like, you just don't talk about it and you just move on. Because if you do talk about it, no one, it's like talking about, and I'm sure you see it, when you do bring up do certain race jokes in certain clubs and it's all white people. I even saw it. I went to the comedy exactly. I went to the comedy store the other night and it was literally the same thing. It was like someone made a race joke and about black people, and you saw the white, like you said, the white people were kind of like he was like, "Fuck you, you can laugh at this."
Can I laugh at this? Yeah, 100%.
And he's like, but it's the comfort. That's how like you said, when a motherfucker's hilarious because they make that joke and everyone just they die laughing, and it's just like.
But you got it. You also have to. If you thought that guy was racist, if you felt that energy, you may not have felt like this was funny.
Right. No, 100%.
So
100%.
it has to come from a place of love.
Yeah.
And to me, it feels like exclusion if I don't talk about a certain group of people because of how they identify, whether it's sexually, race, ability. I'm going to talk about somebody in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it feels like it's messed up for me to exclude you because of how you identify or what's going on with you. I want everybody to know we all the same. Everybody can get made fun of.
And everybody Everybody can be judged and everybody will be. Regardless of if you want to. Exactly. Regardless of if you want to believe that or not, like you said, people may not say a lot of things. Yeah. But I guarantee you there's certain things that if you put 30 people in a room together, they might not say it to one another, but they all gonna fucking be thinking it. Yeah. Except for the one person they're thinking it about. Yeah. It's gonna happen. Yeah. And the less we talk about it, the more it breeds segregation, the more it breeds, that closeted animosity. Yeah. The more it brings like a lot of things to the surface that don't have to be if people just were okay with one another. Like,
that's how we change the world, bro. When we recognize that we all ain't shit. We all have fucked up things going on in our communities. Yep. And we all just human, bro. Like, it's that simple. Mm-hmm. But we make it so difficult because we all sensitive. Yeah. Everybody's sensitive about whatever their thing is, and everybody thinks their thing is worse than the other person's thing.
And that's why I said this the other day. This is why things don't get fixed, right? Because you have an issue. I stand with your issue. But if your issue isn't my issue, I'm going to go focus on my issue, and then we'll get to yours whenever it's important. Yeah. It's like, some people care about like black people getting shot by cops. Some people care about climate change. Yeah. It's very different. It is. And it's, it's if we all got on each other's bandwagons though and was like, all right, fuck it. We're going to fix this first. What are we going to fix first? We're going to fix the whole border situation. We're going to make sure people aren't just getting split from their families. We're going to make sure that, put all our eggs in that basket. That gets fixed. Then, okay, now let's go to police brutality. All right, let's do. But people don't do that. Yeah. Everybody wants to like, Hispanic people are going to care more about that.
As they should.
As they should. And then we'll be over there. We'll be like, yeah, I mean, that's fucked up. But they killing us. Yeah. And it's like, yeah. And then, and it goes on and on and on based on who you are. And then stop Asian hate if you're Asian. You're like, I know they be killing them niggas, but hey, they be fucking with us too. It's like, can we just all just get all the minorities, just get on one page and just help one of these motherfuckers? But look, man, I know we've been talking for a minute.
This the outro?
This is going to be the outro.
I'm glad you started this outro because it was getting in dicey waters. I'm like, I should probably get out of here soon.
He was like, that cancel conversation.
This is because I do kind of want to be a commercial success. So if you could do this outro, that would mean a lot to me.
Oh, well, man, thank you. Thank you for coming through, bro. This was actually a really fun conversation.
Yeah, I can't wait till you start dropping these things. I wish the pod much success. You know a lot of really dope people.
S.B.I. Surrounded by Idiots.
So...
No. We're surrounded by idiots.
So we not the idiots.
No, we're not the idiots.
Okay. I mean, I am, but...
Smiles at camera. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, this is... great, bro. I wish you much success. So many dope people, so this pod is gonna pop off.
Yeah, that was my biggest thing, and it's cool because I learned so much just from like talking. Yeah. Like you just gave me a lot of great perspective points.
Likewise, man. And next time, let's just have my green room ready.
Got you.
Let's have my food warm. And,
my food warm.
I feel you could have lowered the heat. It's a little toasty in here.
I knew you were going to say this.
This is why I wanted to leave for 10 minutes. It's because it's hot in here, and you didn't ask me what I like my temperature to be.
See, the problem is if you turn on the AC, then you hear it on the mic.
Okay, so you purposely trying to.
So I should have cooled it down.
Burn me out in here. Yeah, you gotta pre-cool it.
Well, I was too busy fetching your lunch.
You gotta be able to do all of these things.
I know. I need somebody to help me fucking run the show.
Because the bigger you get, the bigger this podcast gets, bigger guests you have, they not gonna be as forgiving as me.
Listen,
when you bring me back and we at a different level, I'm not gonna put up with this.
You heard that, folks. He's basically saying, when you bring me back, not soon, nigga. When it's at when you got the warehouse and shit.
Yeah, I'm not coming here no more. And when you do blow, I'm not gonna be so forgiving.
Well, listen, when that happens, we're going to make this pack now. When the shit gets popping, listen, bro, it's going to be carte blanche. Just fucking pick you up from the airport based on wherever it's at. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're going to have a black car.
I'm going to be at home, but come get me from the airport.
I want you to pick me up at home, drive me to the airport.
Just so I can see it. And then bring me over here. Because I like this certain coffee they have in the airport. So
what coffee do you like in the airport?
I'm just go with the bit. This is a yes and moment.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, this is why you can't do these things with non-comedians, man.
Yeah. I gotta work.
But yeah, I'm ready to go. So
love, bro. Yo, thanks for coming through. We out, y'all. Peace.